Welcome to the Mentor Studio, where today's thought leaders and leading entrepreneurs inspire and bring real-world ideas that help you take your career to levels you've only dreamed of. Now buckle in. Here's your host, Michael Silvers.
Well, welcome everybody to the Mentor Studio podcast. You know, it's so great that you're here again today. You haven't heard from us in a while because we've been sheltered, not sheltered. Trust me, I've been traveling so much in the last year. It's stunning. But we really wanted to it's not, people always say, oh, I'm going to revamp my show. Okay, if you're going to change things, just say we're making some changes. And we're really looking at, we'll be coming live again, not live, but we're coming recorded every week, obviously on our podcast channels, the YouTube, Apple, and all that fun stuff. We have a lot of business partners that have joined us, and you'll get to know a lot of them. You all got to hear Joseph McClendon last year, so that was really cool. Obviously, 25 years with Tony, but his experiences and where he came from. And I think that went on for 90 minutes. It was supposed to be a 20-minute. But he's got that many years of experience, and he's been in front of 10 million people. That's phenomenal. So, and everybody knows how I do the introductions. I do them very light, and I usually let the person earn the right. And Natalie could do that in a second. But I'm going to do a little bit of an introduction because it's been printed out and typed for me, and then we go from there. If anybody has any questions, you can always look us up. We're at thementorsstudio.com. We love to have all of you as part of what we do. We're still at the end looking for mentors. So we need about 50 more mentors, and then we're going to open the doors for the membership. We got JV deals for 18 months, so you don't have to come with me to a JV deal. That we got lined up. But we're really looking for others of you out there going, I am a good mentor. Basically somebody said, I've been a parent of 11 kids for the last 12 years. I'm like, you're a better mentor. I said, only 12 years? How old are your children? How many did you have in a row? She started laughing because she's like, no. I was thinking of ages. So just have fun with what you do, but we're always looking for more mentors. You can always reach out to us directly, and we'll give you that later on in the show. And it's also always in the show notes. So Natalie McQueen, I love that name, Natalie McQueen. Our next speaker, you guys know that, right? Because this would be, and how many times have I emceed, right? How many shows? 200 events have I emceed in the last year? And then maybe 2,000 over the last 20 years? I don't know, but we'll do it from the stage perspective. It has inspired people around the world to create, live, and leave their legacies for future generations to enjoy. I love that because the Mentor Studio is myself and Mary Glorfield's legacy. This is our legacy piece. This is what we're leaving to our grandkids. She is a 5-time international best-selling author, including her just released Gifts of Legacy, the ultimate blueprint for generations to enjoy. She doesn't know, but she's actually a mentor with us already. She's just going to sign it right after this. Natalie has been certified as a mindset mastery coach and has studied the masters of personal development for over 15 years. Natalie has created a one-of-a-kind system that guides business owners and entrepreneurs like you to create connections that outlive you. And while I'm doing the introduction, I'm moving around and I see, the other teams I usually work with texting me going, Michael, stop moving. As a legacy designer, Natalie's approach is to implement easy and doable daily steps that create something important and meaningful to both protect families and preserve their legacies of wisdom, traditions, and stories. She is here today on our podcast to share with you the components of your legacy blueprint and how to start living with no regrets. Let's give a big thunderous round of applause. Here we go. Natalie, I wanted to just welcome you to the show.
Welcome, Natalie.
Thank you.
It's great to have you on it. And really, and I have on the show with me today too, Donna Campbell. Everybody give that a huge round of applause. Most of you are not going to see this. Donna Campbell has her own amazing product, and we'll give you information about that in the show notes too. But she's also become a trainer and going to be a lead trainer with the Mentor Studio. She's already, we've already put her in London and all over the world at stages. She ran a whole show live for us in December, and it was just brilliant. She's brilliant what she's done. She's handled over $500 million of other people's money, which is always a good thing to do. And she's created healing for those around the world, which is what it's important to do. And she's going to be my co-host moving forward. So give Donna a big round of applause.
Yay.
So Natalie, the thing that people always want to get to know, and this is one of those things, is if you could just, give us just a little bit of your background, because people want to know where you came from. I think that's always the important piece. And then something about yourself nobody else knows.
Okay. So my background, went from dental straight out of school. I was in surgical assisting, and that was a lot of fun. Loved being in the ER with the doctors and getting to put people's mouths together again. But that was a lifetime ago. Then we moved to the US, and my degree didn't cross the border. Originally from Canada.
What part of Canada?
Ontario.
Oh, fantastic. We have a lot of students in Canada and a lot of mentors. Wonderful. Wonderful.
And then after that, I started in with marketing and sales, went back to school, dabbled in that, and then became a mom. I was a stay-home mom. And then kind of got into the natural world, worked for a chiropractor and a naturopathic doctor. And I loved that world. That from there went kind of back into marketing and sales for a little bit, and then went into corporate. I was with Morgan Stanley Smith Barney for years. And that was fun too. I mean, I've loved everything I've done. Then I would say probably almost 7 years ago, I got introduced to the world of book publishing. And I absolutely loved helping other authors get their stories and their wisdom out to the world. So I've helped publish over 250 authors and bring them to international best-selling authors. So it's been busy. And I just published my very own book, February 17th, which is the Gifts of Legacy book. So with that book comes from an experience that I had actually on vacation in Cuba. And I had a near-death experience there, and it completely changed my mindset. And that's where Gifts of Legacy came about.
Wow, that's fantastic. And something, go ahead, Dawn.
Oh, that was something that I was wanting to ask about, because I know you have the book, The Gifts of Legacy, and the Mentor Studio is all about leaving a legacy. So I was just going to ask you, if we were to read your book, what would be the top 3 tips that you might have in there with what you learned about legacies?
Absolutely. So I think the first thing is look around at your current situation and assess. I have a legacy blueprint. And the first one is to assess where you are. Are you happy in your situation of work, of relationships, of, physical health, mental health, all the areas of your life? Do kind of a personal assessment. And then where you're coming up short, make a game plan. And often, and we go through all the steps, because sometimes we hold on to beliefs or a belief system that was ingrained in us and it no longer serves us. So when you really look deep and you can let some of that go and be the person, create the life that you want to create and be the person that you want to be, not what others think you should be. And that's been a hard one for me. I've been a people pleaser most of my life. I don't like to rock the boat. And sometimes you got to rock the boat to live the life that you want to live.
Well, it is those shifts. It's those things that we look at in our life and we say, because we have a tendency of going back to the center. It's our natural, it's our safety. When we were way back and that cave was our safety, there were things that we knew we need to keep coming back to. And if I went past my territory, I probably got eaten.
Exactly.
Right? Seriously, there's those things. But there is that. And then we step out and then we step out and, it feels good. I'm feeling great. Mm-hmm. The problem is we start to move back. We do that subtle shift, right? A little bit, I'm coming back to center. I come back to center. What is a suggestion from you of how I actually stay out there, how I start to move forward?
Yeah, that's so important because you're exactly right. We want to go back into our comfort zone. So what we do is we look at what doesn't serve us, and then we create what I call your legacy list. And that encompasses everything from, the trip to Europe, trip to Disneyland with your family, but also what are the achievements that you want as a person? How do you want to impact your community? How do you want to impact your family? How can you impact the world? And sometimes, especially, I find women do not give themselves enough credit of how they impact their families, the little things that they do every day that they just do. And they don't realize that that child growing up is a better person for having, that mentor, that mom or dad, doing those things daily. They're learning from them, looking at our traditions and values. That's super important when you are living within what feels good and creating out of that spot. Then you are being your authentic self, and that's super important. And creating that legacy list, it's one thing just to write it all down, but then looking at that assessment, that first assessment where you're not happy, or it doesn't even have to be that you're not happy. There's so many people, what I call on the hamster wheel of life, and they go to the job, they work every day. It's an okay job, it pays the bills, but they come home, turn on the TV, and they do the same thing day after day. They're not completely fulfilled. If money was not an object, they wouldn't be going to that job. So that's, really looking at how can you be fulfilled? How can you help others? How can you make a living? And kind of piecing those things together. The legacy list is a guide, but you have to put it into actionable steps and create the steps that, and maybe you can't just jump out of your job and go do what your passion is immediately. You might have to continue to work, and then every day work on 2 or 3 things that can get you towards your real passion.
Right. And that's a great piece, because there's the clients always say, there's so many systems, there's so many things to do, there's so many, we saw it peaks over like 1 million students, and we'd hear the same thing, which was, where do I begin? It's always the where do I begin? So what are 3 simple steps, abilities, actions, whatever it is? What are 3 things you could give our audience right now that they could listen to this call and walk away and start using immediately?
Sure. I would say, I know it's a self-promotion, but get my book, because the entire legacy blueprint is in there that guides you through those steps, self-assessment. But I would think, sit down and take time to journal. Start your day in a way that you have, instead of pressing that alarm and snooze over and over, and then you get up and you're on the run out the door. Give yourself some time to think and do some journaling, do some attitudes of what's great and working in your life. And then, reach out to me. I would love to help you with planning your legacy. Everyone's in a different spot, but the goal is not to be 80 and look back and say, I have so many regrets of what I would like to have achieved, or I wish I had more impact with my community or my kids. Instead, I worked, all the time. And that, as an entrepreneur, it's very easy to get into that working way too much, and sometimes allowing the necessities or the important things to go by the wayside.
I truly love the idea about leaving legacies and putting together a legacy list. So I want to know what's on yours. What's on your legacy list?
I think, well, I am so guilty of overworking. So just getting, during the time that I wrote my book and published, I had 8 other books to publish. So it's been a super busy time. So it's now, I said to my husband, it's now our time to get our date nights back on the calendars and just, have that quality time together. So I would say one of my biggest things is focusing on the relationships in my life. One thing I do every day is I call it your 3 touch points. And that is just reaching out somehow, whether it's through a text, a phone call, an email, a handwritten card, and let somebody in your life know that they're important and that you're happy that they're in your life. And it doesn't have to be a 20-minute conversation. It could be a text message, just thinking about you. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Those are the little things that could make someone's day. And it just, it keeps with my family, we have a group chat. And we'll often just put something funny in and we all can laugh at it. You just stop in the middle of your day and, it just gives you that reprieve in the middle of your day to laugh. Or, if something, my daughter's in flight school. So she's had a lot of, they're not exams, flight exams, I guess, with the FAA going to the next step of becoming a pilot. And so when she, sends the message, I passed, and she takes a picture and we all, get excited. So it's just keeping the people in your life close and just go the little extra mile.
Yeah, that's a huge piece. It's because what it does too is it takes yourself outside of yourself. Yeah. I think there's that place of us where, if you can be of service, that makes a big difference. Am I serving others? Especially some people say, I'm not sure where I want to go, what I want to do. I'm always like, great, go help in a soup kitchen for a day. Yeah. Go help others for a day. Get outside of yourself. Yeah. I'm still trying to find myself. That's great. Well, while you're finding yourself, go be of service to others and see how that flips that switch.
You know what? You're exactly right. Volunteering is one of the most giving things you can give to yourself. Mm-hmm. People think you're doing someone else a favor, that you get so much back when you are helping others. So that's a great one.
It does. It makes a difference. Yeah. Anything else you'd like to? First of all, is your book on Amazon? Is it? What's the best way to get it? Okay.
Yep, I can. Do you want me to pass the link or just tell it to you?
No. Pass. You could. Well, if you put it in chat, actually, then we'll grab it and we'll put it in the. It can go in the Crypt notes. So we have a whole team that does the notes at the end.
Perfect. I will give you the link then. I think the biggest thing is knowing that every day we have a new start. Mm-hmm. So if yesterday was a crappy day, it's okay. It's behind us. You can sit today and start creating what the rest of your life could be. So don't live your life with regrets, and take time to love on yourself. Yeah. And give yourself that time to create and live the life that you deserve.
That's right. And that's what makes a big difference. Donna, anything else before we go? We do a wrap.
Yeah. If you had a favorite quote that you would share or use, what would it be?
Sure. So this one I actually ended my book with. It's life is like a camera. So focus on what's important and capture the good times, develop from the negatives. And if things don't work out, just take another shot.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I love that one too.
I love that. That is amazing.
I love it. That's, well, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you guys.
And so what we'll do for those out there listening is in the show notes and in the blog. I can't believe we use those terms anymore, but there'll be all the information for Natalie, how you can, reach her and how you can buy her book. Because remember, it's the books, it's the courses, it's those things that we do that make us who we are, right? We'll do one last piece quickly. So Natalie, what's a great book you've read that you would recommend to others?
Oh my gosh, I'm a bookaholic.
Or something that started you out, like I always say, for me, it was Think and Grow Rich and Secrets of the Millionaire Mind were the two.
Secrets of the Millionaire Mind is one of my favorites. I would say I have been reading a lot. Of course, I'm not going to remember. I'm reading one right now, and it is called Ask and It Is Given by Esther Hicks. Wow. I love that mind stuff, and I love her beliefs. So that's what I'm reading right now.
Oh, you're the best. Well, thank you so much for being on today. It's been great to have you on. We always welcome you back. And, for myself and Donna in the Mentor Studio, we are so pleased to have you on. For everybody out there at the Mentor Studio, look at the show notes. You can see about Natalie. You'll actually see where you can actually purchase her book. And it's an investment in who you are. It's becoming better at what you do every day. For those of you who are joining us as mentors, we're down to about a month of taking mentors, and then we're moving to members, and you'll have to go through an application process. So if you want to be a mentor with us, this would be your time to do it now, because we're down to the last, I know it sounds like a lot to some of you, 50, but we need about 400 mentors to pull off what we're doing. And it's just been great to have all of you on here. So from myself, the Mentor Studio, Natalie and Donna, we wanted to thank you all for being on the show today. It's great to have you on, and have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. And just have a great day, everyone. Goodbye, everyone.
We're honored that you invested time with us today at the Mentor Studio. Now, don't be greedy. Share this knowledge bomb with all your dope peeps on Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat. Actually, we'll even pay you to do it. To get the deets, please check out thementorsstudio.com.